Greetings, fellow men of culture. As always, I'm broadcasting live from the peak of Thundercock Mountain. So far, the AI juggernaut has resulted in a net negative for humanity, just like social media, coffee enemas, and women's rights. The needs of this one industry are so overwhelming, it's choking the supply of computer components to all other industries that share these components. It's like when my children were still breastfeeding, and there wasn't enough titty milk left over by the time I was done. Really quick, I want to thank my channel members, Ryan Engel, Holden Thompson, Tuka Trupa, and Dawson the Hole. I greatly appreciate the support. Welcome to your luxury suite on Thundercock Mountain. Big memory manufacturers like Crucial have abandoned the consumer-facing part of the market in favor of supplying the never-ending needs of the AI industry, causing prices of all sorts of consumer electronics to skyrocket. These companies are maxing out their manufacturing pipeline so that single, lonely, 9-cat-owning women can pretend that ChatGPT is their boyfriend. Nvidia is all in on the gangbang, pretending like they still care about producing GPUs rather than pushing out the same generic AI slop we've seen for the last 3 years, even if they present it as breakthrough technology. You can dress your ugly girlfriend up in beautiful clothes and tons of makeup, but she's still just your ugly sister. I keep seeing people complain about the description AI slop, citing that it's overused to the point of losing its meaning. But I don't care. It's the perfect description. And seeing it becoming widely adopted is pissing off AI-favoring CEOs like Satya Nadella and Jensen Huang, so I hope it sticks around for a long time. The reason I'm opening with commentary on the current AI bubble is because it's a big factor in the main topic of the video. On March 27th, 2026, Sony announced that all PS5 models and the PlayStation Portal handheld electronic waste device will be getting a $50 price increase. That's the second hike in 1 year's time, with the last one occurring on August 21st, 2025. This hike brings the base digital model to $600 USD, the disc version to $650, and the Pro to a butthole-clenching $900 USD. With a conversion rate, that brings the Pro model to 1,020 Canada 2.0 rupees.
Hello sir, welcome to Tim Hortons. Enjoy it. Would you like some coffee with your Indian hair today?
The AI memory shortage sticks another finger in my ass, this time all the way to the second knuckle. These new prices go into effect on April 2nd, which is unfortunate. They could have done something really funny with this news. Sony's VP of Global Marketing said in a blog post, "We know that price changes impact our community, and after careful evaluation, we found this was a necessary step to ensure we can continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to players worldwide." That's some corporate speak. Translated to regular person dum-dum words, they increased the price to maintain the profit margins they had before component costs went up, or to not lose as much money on each console sold. I don't know if they've been selling the PS5 at a loss, which is not uncommon in console sales. Either way, this increase will further push lower-income households out of the current generation of gaming. From a GameSpot article, Circana Senior Director Matt Piscatella said, 53% of video game hardware purchasing households during Q4 2025 had incomes of over $100K. So, the average household buying a new unit of video game hardware has been becoming more affluent on average over time. Staying on top of the current generation of gaming is slowly becoming out of reach for households making less than $100K per year. The PS5 launched in November 2020. The console is approaching 6 years old at this point, and instead of following the regular trajectory of becoming more affordable as the technology ages, it's now going to be $200 more than it was when it launched in late 2020. The so far unique situation of having a few shit-eating companies demand so much component supply has led to the inverse of what we've been accustomed to seeing for 30 years now. Consoles have historically gotten significantly more affordable as they age, with hardware revisions becoming cheaper to produce and high sales games getting discounted re-releases. It was always better to wait a while to buy into a new generation, since you could get a cheaper, more compact console for a lower cost. There was a ton of high-quality titles, and a healthy used market by that point. The days of the $99 brand new GameCube are behind us, unfortunately. By the time Sony is ready to announce their next console, we're going to be pining for the days when the PS5 was $1,000. If you're going to blame anyone, blame me. I didn't want to tell you guys, since I usually make fun of AI so much on this channel, but memory prices are so high because I may have asked Grok to render an image of gangster grannies in bikinis a few too many times.
I came here for two things, to suck some hard candy and suck some dicks.
This is all bad news on the surface, but I don't think this is entirely a bad thing. I know it's exciting for a lot of people to have the shiniest new thing, even though the PS5 is 5 years old now, but there's an absurd amount of excellent gaming without the newest console. Forgoing a PS5 at this point means you're pretty much only giving up the big Sony titles, and most of those are all the same game anyway. The wow factor of a playable movie is gone at this point. With even the most mid-range PCs, you can play nearly every video game worth playing from the hobby's entire history. The most played game of all time on Steam, Counter-Strike 2, is playable on your mom's vibrator. In fact, the top 10 current games on Steam are all fairly lightweight to run. except for Crimson Desert. If you're interested in playing whatever the most popular games are at the moment, the PS5 shouldn't even be considered unless you can get a decent price for a used one. Not to mention that emulation has come a long way over the years. The increasing prices on the second-hand market for older consoles can be completely avoided using the same PC that can play every popular title on Steam right now. In fact, for those only interested in older titles, you can forgo a console and even a mid-range PC entirely with one of the higher spec retro handhelds. All you need is a very basic boat that is seaworthy enough to sail the high seas, which I used to do all the time back when I was a Somali pirate. The AYN Odin, for example, is capable of playing PS2 games and everything before it, and it's cheaper than a Steam Deck. If you're only interested in 16-bit games or handheld consoles like Game Boy Advance, there's a never-ending flood of great and affordable handheld devices coming out all the time. If you primarily purchase video games for your children, odds are they're playing whatever their friends are playing or whatever is most popular. Get something that can play Minecraft and Roblox and you're set until long after the RAM shortage. The pricing situation for gaming consoles is only going to get worse from here on out. Sony's announcement has sparked some speculation about Xbox Series and Nintendo Switch 2 price hikes. It's only a matter of time. The current Ramageddon is predicted to last until at least 2027. Things won't smooth out until well after that. New production facilities that make memory won't be producing any significant amount of output until at least 2028. I personally don't see console prices going down until 2029 or 2030. At that point, if consoles somehow continue to sell decently well, prices will never come down. If Sony or Nintendo sees enough people willing to spend $900+ on hardware, they'll keep those prices as the baseline going forward, regardless of production cost. If Microsoft is serious about the Xbox being a real thing again, they could wait until costs go down and massively undercut the competition and garner some goodwill at the same time. Until prices go down, if they ever do, I would say just continue with what you have. Don't pay ridiculous prices just so you can play Sony's latest generic third-person action game where you need to routinely shimmy through a gap in a wall. There are several lifetimes worth of excellent titles to enjoy forever. Easy to run indie games that cost significantly less than AAA titles and offer way higher quality content. The developers of these indie games are also much less likely to turn around and take a shit on their players' chests as well. I probably don't have to tell my regular viewers any of this. There's always lots of comments of people saying they're perfectly happy playing their 10,000 years worth of backlog rather than keeping up with the mainstream gaming race. That's a great attitude to have. Maybe these console price increases will cause players to get more thrifty with their gaming purchases. Indie titles may get more exposure because they're generally cheaper, and the yearly cycle of low-quality COD and sports titles will be less appealing to mainstream gamers. I know that most likely won't happen, but they're free to spend their money however they choose, but us true men of culture will be over here enjoying a moral bathhouse forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. If you want to see how Fortnite and Epic Games are currently struggling with a downturn in players, check out the video on screen, and I hope to see you all in the next one.
Let's go ahead and do it, guys, in 3, 2, 1.